Hey, what's going on, team? On this week's episode of Describe, we're going to be talking about the hip hinge. Now, there's a few different things we need to be thinking about when we hinge in order to be able to deadlift and RDL and all those sorts of moves properly. So one of the things we need to be thinking about is our pelvic tilting. So now there's anterior and then there's also posterior pelvic tilting. So we talked in the breathing video and the core training video about how to tilt our pelvis and use it properly and how that applies to our deadlifting and all of our bigger compound lifts. That still applies, obviously, when we go to hinge and when we go to deadlift and RDL. And I want to talk about it just a little bit in this video. So we need to find neutral with our pelvis. There's anterior and then there's also posterior pelvic tilt. So usually most people sit in this anterior pelvic tilt where my back is really arched. My core's not really doing much work. And I don't want you necessarily all the way back here where I'm really squeezing my glutes and I'm really squeezing my abs. I want you to find somewhere in neutral where you can have a nice flat back. There's no tension on your lower back. We can remove the risk of injury, but you're not squeezing so hard that it's impossible to hold. And then when you actually go to hinge, you need to be thinking about where's the weight distribution on your foot. Because if we just lean forward or if we just push our butt back, we're not going to necessarily be using the right musculature as if we lean forward and push our butt back at the same time, trying to keep that weight over that midfoot. So when I go to hip hinge, I'm going to find that neutral, hold it when I'm actually doing my hinge, and then when I go down, grab the bar, and then up. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do an RDL here. I'm going to push my butt back and lean my torso forward all at the same time. So I'm sending my butt back, torso's coming forward, weight's right over my midfoot, spine is still neutral, and then I'm going to stand up. Now, there's a couple of common faults with the RDL, one of which is just leaning forward here and allowing the bar to go in front of my feet, my weight's on the ball of my foot, and then I'm standing up. Another common fault is just leaning back, so just pushing my butt back, weight's now on my heels, and then I'm up. In both of those scenarios, I felt a ton of tension in my hamstring. Now there's physics at play whenever we move our body, and the physics are telling my hamstring to activate and to hold myself upright as I lean forward in both those positions. What we want to be doing is having an almost equal distribution of our body over our center of mass. So again, what this looks like is me trying to evenly place my hips behind my center of mass and my chest in front of it. So instead of being all the way back here or all the way forward here, I'm going to be right down the middle here, neutral spine, and then up, and then I'll demonstrate a couple more just so you know visually what to look for. So that is the hip hinge. Again, proper pelvic tilting and proper weight distribution in the hinge is absolutely crucial to make sure we're hitting the right musculature as well as removing most chance of injury. Make sure to check out all my social medias, my YouTube, Tiny Whiteboard Workouts. This is where you originally found the video. And my two Instagrams, at Tiny Whiteboard Workouts and at John Williams Training. Also, you can go to my website. I have 4-week programs for sale for $9.99. That is tinywhiteboardworkouts.com. Get your hinge right.